Hello, welcome to my channel, A Comeback. Um, I'm glad to have you here. Um, I've been kind of preparing. I wanted to come on. I'm going to do Rebecca's story. I know it's been a long time coming. It's it's been really difficult. Mostly because she wants me to just share it all, and I'm holding back on things to share. But I'm just going to go with it and see what happens, and what spirit thinks I should do. Before I get started, I wanted to, I told you we're going to do a lot of work with the angels and stuff, and this is the Angel Bible. It is so awesome. And a lot of the stuff we do is going to be out of here. But I just got this book, The Secret, and it's supposed to be like your personal transformation. And kind of when I was reading about it and stuff, I think it supposedly it says it has the secret to life in it. Well, we'll see, because I'm going to read it and find out. But I think they're talking more in the secret of like how our thoughts, even when they're in our head, how the way we think, even before we even get it out further than that, how it really has an impact to what attracts to you or what you put out there. And so I think this is going to be awesome. I'll let you guys know what I think of it when I get it done, but I'm going to do that. Okay, where do I start with Rebecca's story? I think I want to start talking first when she first started having problems, and it started in school, and it started in her when she started junior high, and she didn't fit in. She had trouble with bullies and being bullied, and she went through dealing with that. And I remember talking to somebody, I even talked to somebody spiritual about, because I was really worried. Did you see that? Wow. My lamp just flickered. Now where was I with that? It took me my mind there. So that is just I wonder how much I didn't know, to be honest. I think there was a lot more I didn't know about the bullying. But anyways, what I was saying about that, I took it to a spiritual person, and she had even told me that if I wanted to save my daughter, I needed to get her out of the school she was at. And, well, I did get her out of that, and she went to classes at night, but I don't think it was much better. I think it had to do with where we lived we were in Marion County, so we were in like the city limits of the big town of Indianapolis, and I don't think that was really good for her. I think, and that was one of the things I was so about my grandson. I knew I didn't want him, to start the school system over in junior high, and I knew, and out here it's been great. So I knew I wanted to get him out, and I did that. But Becky could be a pistol, but she had a loving heart too, which kind of let her get by with a lot, because you knew what a loving heart. So when she was doing her shenanigans when she was young, you know, so she struggled with being bullied and and peer pressure, and I'm going to be honest, there were times she wouldn't get off the bus when she was supposed to on a Friday. And it would send me into incredible worry. And she did a lot of things like that. She definitely pushed the limits and pushed my buttons as a parent. But none of that prepared me for what was to come. And that part of her addiction didn't kick into the full-blown addiction until after her second daughter, well, not her second daughter, her second child was born. And then it took over. I want to talk to, and I'm going to skip around about a lot of things, but I want to talk to maybe perhaps there's some parents out there, or perhaps there's grandparents. There's so many of us grandparents that have kind of been put in these, where we're taking care of our grandchildren because a lot of our children are being taken from drugs. And a lot of us don't talk about it because we're kind of ashamed, and we shouldn't be ashamed because it's a disease, and it can happen to anybody. It can happen to the most gifted. It can happen to athletes. And I'm gonna talk on a specific drug, and it will be heroin. And I just want you people out there that are going through perhaps something like this with their child, or there is no judgments. I have no judgments from it. God has no judgments. He doesn't want the children to be lost to these drugs and things. And God loves them as much as somebody that doesn't. So don't think because you've done things or things that you're ashamed of, do not think that defines you. We all have mistakes we made in our youth, and some of us more so than others. That doesn't define you. Don't think because you've done things and you're ashamed. That doesn't define you. You're worth it. You're lovable and you're worth it. And you can do this. You can overcome this. I'm not going to lie and say it's easy. If it was easy, people will be doing it. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to go down into your soul and search really deep and pull out. But like anything that you need to overcome, challenging like that, addiction, and addiction cannot just be drug form. Addictions can be many forms. You can be addicted to sweets, or you eat too many. I mean, you got to look at it all. It's all in there's many addictions, like I said. Not all of it, we think of the drugs, yes. There's sexual addiction. There's, I would say, though, that the drugs is what's really bad right now. And the kids, it's coming in and, the drug dealers selling it, they don't care about anybody. They only care about themselves and making money, and they don't care about what they cut it with. They don't, it kills people. None of that means anything to them. So be diligent and don't think you're alone, and reach out. There are others out there that have been through it, that know what you're going through. And when I tell you, you're going to have to be tough. As a parent, you're going to have to be tough. You're going to have to practice tough love. And it's not going to be easy, because you have to cut off the enabling part. That means no more money. No more, I need $5 for gas money. Because with heroin, $5, trust me, it can get you heroin. It can get you high. Probably the hardest thing that I ever had to do was to practice tough love with Rebecca. And I let her get by with a lot before it came to that. And when I tell you these things, I can tell you these things now, but it was a lot harder when you're going through it. I'm just going back in thought to what it was like when I had to cut off the money. And there came a time when it was so bad that I had to put her out of my house. That was hard. I had to put her out of the house because of the stealing. And no, just know that that's the disease. But it gets bad. It gets really bad. At one point, all my jewelry I ever had through my life, I went to look, it was gone. She wiped me out. I always talked to her, but I couldn't just have a key to my home anymore and free reign of it, because I didn't know what would be next. And the drugs, it makes them mean. It makes them say things that you're like, I cried a lot of tears. A lot. I prayed. That's all I needed to do. I prayed and prayed, asking God to save her. Then there was the time that I was driving down a heavy heavy traffic street. It's 16th Street. It's the the road that runs in front of Indiana 500 Speedway. Down in that area, it's not the greatest. I was coming back. At the time, I had just left the IU campus. I just met my ex for lunch, and I was driving back that way. I was going to go by and have my car washed. And I come to the stoplight, and there in the middle of the intersection was my daughter. And she was holding a sign asking for money. She was hungry. I will never forget what that was like. And I pulled up and I rolled down my window and I said, I can't give you any money, but if you want to get in the car, we'll go over here and I'll get you something to eat. And she got in the car and I took her over there. And she was dirty. And I know there were like police cars on the parking lot. And I remember saying, I don't think I can go in here. Because the police are in there. They're going to think I'm in here panhandling. And I go, no, I'll tell them I'm your mother and I'm buying you food. And I sat there and while she ate and she just inhaled it. But I would beg her, of course, please come home. Please let get clean. Please let us help you. Please. She didn't want. She was going back to her boyfriend and her daughter. So I know what it's like to be the parent of a child that you've lost to drug addiction. I know I want to say something. With all that I'm telling you about Rebecca, no, she was gifted. And it wasn't always like this. And she loved her babies. Out of my children, my two girls, Rebecca taught me the most in life. And she made me a better person. I'm going to tell you how. I haven't always been such an unjudgmental person. And I'm going to say, because of what I did early on in my young life, when I worked for the police department, it was I was more judgmental. And I could hear myself saying stupid things. If I saw that person on the side of the road, I might have said an ignorant thing. It does not. First of all, let me tell you another thing. If you see those people on the side of the road, you listen to how your heart tells you to act to those people. Because a lot of people go, well, I'm not going to give them money because I give them money to go buy them some food and they're just going to go buy some liquor or buy. You know what? If your heart speaks to you to give to someone like that, you are giving in the right way. Now, if they receive that and spend that foolishly, that's on them. But your gift was, and you should look at it like that. All the messages and the lessons that I got from Rebecca in life, I didn't want any of them, trust me. I did not want any of them. And, I can remember being a parent and hearing something and going, oh, my kid would never do that. Well, let me tell you something. The minute you say, my kid will never do that, karma's going to come around and show you how saying that is going to bite you in the butt. Because that's how it works. But, I'm the person I am today because of Rebecca. And by her story and her life and what it opened up my compassion. And you have to have compassion for people. No, I'm not saying, you can feel a person, you can kind of be around them until, no, you don't need to be scammed and all that. You need to be careful and stuff like that. But sometimes, I think perhaps maybe those are just angels standing on those corners to see how people are going to react. And, if God was walking down here amongst us, do you think he would be walking with the rich and the... No. So just kind of be, I don't know, just send love to them. Just send them love. But Becky totally made me who I am today. And I'm very mindful of what comes out my mouth now. Okay. Let me tell you what happened. I'd always tell both of my girls growing up that the one thing I would never do, I would never bail them out of jail if they did something wrong. Of course, that was probably the working at the police department talking there, but I'd always tell my girls that. And, I'd always had a mother that was, she was a Libra, and she was the scales of justice. She, and just because you were a child, don't think she was going to make sure that you were on that too, doing that with other people. We had a mother that checked on us. She was like a warden, but, no, sorry, Mom. Okay, let's get off of that. So, she had sold something. It was a bracelet. And it got turned in. And the bracelet got found. And we were actually on vacation. Me and my ex-husband now, but husband at the time. And we took both our grandchildren to Florida, and we were there when we got a call from our neighbor. And even though my daughter wasn't allowed to go back in the house and didn't have a key and whatever, I guess after we left, she came to our house and was staying in the car in our driveway. And that's where the police came and arrested her in our driveway. And we got the call in Florida. So we came home and everything, and, it was upsetting, obviously. And then, court. And I watched them bring my child into the courtroom, dressed in orange, with handcuffs and shackles on, shackled to others. And she was actually there with somebody, but they got released. She got sent to do some time. She was locked up for 90 days. I went and visited her. It was over a video. It was never, in person or anything. And, what happened in that 3 months' time, she got clean, and she started writing me, and she was sending me letters, and she was opening up to me about a lot of stuff. And there was some church people that came in, and they go around to the jails, and they talk, with the inmates, and my daughter ended up getting saved. She talked with me about God and how she felt God for the first time in there, and how that was the only thing that got her through it. And she started journaling while she was in there again. She used to write poetry, and it was incredible. She started journaling and writing her thoughts and all that down. And I have the letter, and I might read it I don't know if I'll read it tonight, but I might read it and share it with you. But I'm just going to tell you in a nutshell. It was her telling me that the best thing that I ever did for her was practice tough love. And I don't think well, I don't want to say that, but that letter gave me great peace in the end because of her doing that. I did what you do as a parent for your child. But I think I would have just been ate up if I hadn't had that letter from her on that. Okay, so let's get. I got the call to go pick her up. June 6th. And it was just wonderful. Because as soon as she came out, she gained weight. Their drugs had, like, when she went in, she was just a skeleton. And I mean now, when she came out, I had my child. For the first time, I had my child back. I had the sparkle. The sparkle was in her eyes. You know, she didn't look like she was sick. She looked healthy. She looked good. She was so upbeat. And on the way home, nothing was open, I think. I said, what do you think you want to go get? Like, maybe breakfast at McDonald's. And I remember her going, oh, God, that's all I thought about. Well, I've been in here and the food's awful. So we went to and ate breakfast at McDonald's that morning. And we just talked and we laughed and it was just the best. And then we went home and I remember going over her son. He was 8. And he had slept on the couch because he knew that she was coming home and he had missed her so much. And she came in and she immediately was over there all kissing all over him and he wouldn't wake up. He was, and I remember she went in there and took a shower and got all ready and she had to do a lot of stuff that day and she had to go to a clinic and get medicine. She had to go to a counselor. She had and then she had to go to another doctor. These are things that she did. She went and did every one of those things. When I'm taking moments, it's because there's things that let's just say something happened. Someone she didn't bring back somebody's car when he got home from work. It wasn't there, and so he was going off in one of the episodes that this person was good at. And when we went over to where she wasn't there, but the car was, I think she was there, my own personal, but I think because of this other person saying terrible things, and I'm going to say it. It is not okay to call anybody a piece of shit. It's not okay to beat them down. It's not okay. And then they drove off with their vehicle with all of her medicine in it. She had none of her medicine or anything. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I wouldn't have wanted to walk back into that home. Trust me, I lived in it. And I wouldn't have wanted to walk back after that person. So that's enough on that. Spirit just did the thing again. And I believe truly with everything in my being, people that are people that do that to other people and belittle and beat them and push them down and call them terrible things. And I'm going to say, she was a young woman. I went through a lifetime being said those things to. I know it does affect you. I will tell you the last thing that my daughter said to me. Rebecca said as she walked out the door, and she said, "Mama, don't go to Sarah's grave tomorrow without me. I'll be back and we'll go together." And the next day was June 7th, and that was the day that my other daughter was killed in the car up. I had every thought that she was going to show up that day. He would have been already left her work. She would have. There was a knock on my door. And I went and I looked out. Well, actually, let me. I was upstairs. We had upstairs. And I heard a knock, and it was a pounding, and it was at the back door, and I thought, oh, well, maybe she knocked on the front door and I didn't hear. And the back door had a peephole on it. And I always looked through it. I looked through the peephole thinking it was going to be her, and it was 2 police officers. And I knew what they were there for. And I remember I called my husband at work, and I said, "There's 2 police at our door, and he just won't open it."
open it. And no, I can't. I can't open it. I know what you're gonna say. And they kept banging and banging and banging. I wouldn't open it. In the meantime, I think my girlfriend's family and somebody was trying to make contact, and next thing I know, my husband walked in the door, so I know. And I was standing at the top of the stairs, and he came in, and he was at the bottom of the stairs, and he said, "Baby, I'm sorry, she's gone." How can this be? She's gone. That was definitely the second time I went to my niece. And it was the hardest thing. Because she had been there. She had been here. You know, I always felt like I was so much closer to Sarah because when she was born, I was young. I was 18. But after she was killed, me and Rebecca, we became close. And if not for her, I don't know how we would have got through her sister's death without her helping me. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. But she was special. And I believe, truly, you know what I believe? I believe I'm gonna get a paper towel, I'm sorry. I believe some of us come here to learn, and some of us come here and are teachers. And I believe my daughters came to do exactly what they were meant to do. They taught me much. Taught me so much. And I would not be the person I am. I would not be this judgmental if not for them. So, honestly, I believe they were already angels, and it just came to help me to grow as a person. And I'm so blessed to have had them in my life. And if I knew before I had them, if I knew what was to come, would I have done it? Knowing the pain of the loss of losing them, absolutely, I would do it in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Because it's all about the love. And that is Rebecca's story. And Rebecca is already helping. I'm sorry about all the crying, but sometimes, crying is a release. It's good to cry. It releases. It gets all that out. So it's a good thing. But just know, if you know someone that's going through anything like this, be a good friend. They need you. Reach out for help if you need it. If you're out there and you have an addiction, get the help. It's worth it. You're worth it. You're worth it. I love you all, and big things. Oh, I wore this. Okay. Precious friend. This was a gift. And it's so big. We're going to make one for her out of it, too. But thank you for that. And I thought, I have to wear this when I do Rebecca's. And of course, I have my butterfly. That's my sign for the girls. Butterflies. Anyways, I love you all. And, things are going to be okay. And we're going to do lots of good things out there. Listen, if you guys need to talk to me about any of this stuff, you feel free. And I believe that I better not say that though, because I'm not sure. My producer handles that, and I don't know if he's doing that right now. I'm about ready to fire him, but don't tell him that, because he works for free, so, Anyways,